Hi, and welcome to your Maintenance Minute. My name is Erin with Whirlpool Canada, and with me today is Justin from Tridel.
Hi, how you doing?
During this video, we're going to explore how to use and maintain your cooktop and your ventilation. So let's get started with a great feature on your cooktop, which is your dual size element. You have one on the rear left-hand side, and you have one on the front right-hand side. This is great for flexibility for cooking any size or any type of cookware. Pretty useful, right?
It is very useful, and I can notice you have you can notice it by the double rings.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I can use any pots on this?
We always recommend you can use any type of pot as long as the base is a flat surface.
So similar aluminum, copper, cast iron.
Well, similar to the stainless steel, if you're using aluminum or copper, they are a little harsher, so you have to watch out because they can scratch the surface of the cooktop.
That's a good point.
There's another trick too to keep the cooktop surface looking nice and clean.
Right, so should I cook like this? Can I like go back and forth with the pot and...
No, I don't want you to turn into a chef.
Okay.
All I want you to do is place the actual pot directly on the element.
Right.
And leave it there.
Okay.
The element will do all the cooking for you.
Okay, thank you.
By sliding it back and forth, you're actually going to start putting little scratch marks into the glass surface. So you don't want to do that.
Okay, definitely not. Definitely not.
So the next thing we want to actually talk about...
Yeah, let's get started. Let's turn it on.
Well, before we get started in talking about temperature, Justin, let's talk about a tip we want to talk about for customers and cooking.
Okay.
Is we always want to turn the fan on low just before you start cooking. So Justin, if you want to actually turn that on so we can show how we turn it on.
Sure.
So placing it on low, what you're actually going to start doing is starting an air draw, a turbulence of air being pulled out and exhausting it, so that when you start doing heavy cooking or high boiling, all of those smells and that steam start to remove itself. So increase it from a low setting up to a high speed. So you're going to draw that air much faster.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, if you need to ventilate your home, you can also use this fan to ventilate your home as well.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah. But if we're venting for your home as well as for cooking, is there something that we need to clean?
There is. There's a filter right underneath. And you can notice that if you look under here, it slides right out. So if you cook a lot with a lot of grease, heavy grease, you're going to notice that you're going to have grease buildup on this filter. What you want to do is you want to get some hot soapy water, put this in for about 10 to 15 minutes, then take it out, let it dry, and then put it back in.
Okay.
If that doesn't happen the first time, you can always repeat the process. And this is what it's going to look like when it comes out. Nice and clean. So I'm just going to slide this back in. And that's it.
That seems simple enough. It looks like there's channels.
There's a channels that it slides in, yes.
Excellent, excellent. So when you're actually cooking on a high temperature or boiling, you always want to place those pots towards the back of the cooktop because it's the closest to the vent, so that you're going to get better suction and exhaust out from your cooking. Now let's turn the elements on.
All right, good stuff.
So how do we do that? We've got a couple of dials that you're going to see here on the cooktop surface, and they all have an indicator as to which element responds to which dial. So you'll just look out for that black little dot to identify which element we're calling out.
Okay.
When you want to turn it on, you're basically going to push down on the dial and then turn to the desired temperature setting that you're looking for.
Oh, I see this has an indicator light on the front there when it goes on.
Absolutely. It's a nice safety feature to say something is on.
Wow, that is a really good safety feature.
It is. Now, I talked about you having two dual size elements.
Okay.
The dual size elements actually have a two-sided operation. On the right-hand side is the interior element, so the smaller one. On the left-hand side, it's the dual, so it's both of them that are going to be activated. Okay? So when you turn on the element, you're actually going to notice that the element is going to turn red so that you can see the actual heat. Sometimes it won't come on immediately, but you can actually see and feel the temperature rising.
Right.
So the reason that it's not red immediately is that it's actually a safety feature for the cooktop itself, but it also helps while you're cooking because it's going to toggle on and off.
On and off. That's a great feature.
Well, it's going to maintain that temperature for your
the heat
cooking.
that you want. Okay,
yeah,
great.
so it's not going to boil if you're asking it to simmer. So it's going to maintain that temperature for you. Okay. So let's talk about some cleaning tips. We've talked about the fan, and you've talked about that, so that's great. Cleaning tips with regards to the cooktop surface itself. You're going to notice that once you actually have stopped cooking, that there is a red indicator light directly on the cooktop. And
Yeah,
this is
I can
just
see
to
that.
showcase that an element is still hot to the touch.
Okay.
So you do not want to clean when you see that indicator
Sorry,
light.
I'm just going to go right ahead and clean once.
No, you
red
don't want
light.
to do that.
Oh,
No,
okay.
you don't want to do that.
So wait for the light to go off and then.
Absolutely.
Proceed with
So
the
you're going to
cleaning.
wait till it cools down. Then you're going to
That's a
take
good point.
a microfiber cloth and you're going to wipe down the actual cooktop surface to make sure that it stays in pristine working condition, and also a nice glass surface. You want to shine it up a little bit. We always recommend that you use a cooktop cleaner and a non-abrasive scrub brush, so that you can actually get those spills that you've boiled over.
Yeah, it's a great product, Fresh.
It is a great product. Now, if you don't want to use the cooktop cleaner, there are alternatives to cleaning. The first one would be an all-purpose cleaner. And again, making sure that the cooktop surface is cool when using this. Or you can always use the traditional soap and water.
Right, so if you're sensitive to chemicals, soap and water would be great.
Absolutely.
Oh, perfect, great.
Absolutely. There's another couple of tips that I do want to share. Because
Okay.
this is a glass cooktop, this is still a very durable surface, but at the end of the day, it's glass. So there's a couple of tips I want to share with you.
Okay.
The first one is, in the rear, we tend to like to put a spice rack back here. The only thing I would caution is that if anything were to fall down onto the surface, it is glass, so there's a possibility that it could crack or shatter.
Yeah, we wouldn't want that.
No, definitely not. And then the next thing I know we're all guilty of once in a while, so I'm going to remind us what not to do when we're boiling water or using a hot temperature with a lid. Justin, what do you typically do when you're boiling water, let's say for pasta, and it's ready to throw your pasta in? What do you do with that lid?
Me, I'm going to take the lid, I'm going to put it right over here.
You know what? Everybody tends to do that. But this is a big no-no.
Oh,
you
wow.
don't want to do that.
Okay.
Because what has happened while you've boiled water is that humidity has started captivating on top of this lid. And if you place that on top of a cold surface of the cooktop, it's going to create a suction. And if you try to remove that cooktop or that pot from the cooktop, it will actually shatter the glass. So you want to be very, very careful about that. So when you remove that lid, just put it on your countertop. Don't put it on the glass surface.
That's a great point.
So it's a really great tip so that you're
definitely.
ensuring that you're not going to damage this cooktop.
It is good, you're right.
Absolutely. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Good.
So thanks for taking the time to learn your cooktop and ventilation. I hope that this Maintenance Minute addressed any questions you may have. If not, and you need further clarification on Whirlpool appliances or service, please visit whirlpool.ca.
And if you have any questions about Tridel or any of our communities, you can visit our website at tridel.com, or you can email us at ask@tridel.com. Thank you for joining us. I'm Justin from Tridel.
And I'm Erin from Whirlpool.